Hey all, it's Alma with the Cat's Pajamas, and today I want to show you how I created what I like to call the Santa grazing board. I think it's super cute, and I made it on my glowforge using a cutting board from Dollarama and a couple of SVGs from the Cat's Pajamas. If you don't have a laser, you can always use your electronic cutting machine to make vinyl transfers. Since I wanted to combine an SVG and PNG images, I decided to use Inkscape to put together the image that I wanted. Now, if you're not familiar with Inkscape, it's a free program on the internet that's very similar to Illustrator, and it allows you to save files as SVG files, PNG files, PDF files, and more. So for my cutting board, I measured the space for the area that I wanted to engrave, and I designed the graphic, pulling images from our Wish You a Merry Christmas, Scandy Santa, and our Christmas Eve Digi-Stamp set. I wanted to use the black and white reindeer, the black and white cup, and the gingerbread man, except those were available only in PNG files. So I'm going to go ahead and use those. Now you can see that it's pretty easy to tweak things in Inkscape. You can move things around by clicking and dragging on the items. You can resize by pulling on any of the arrows that surround the selection. And if you want to rotate, you click on the image twice, and you can see that the arrow changes into ones that allow you to rotate. Now, once you have the design the way you like it, create another document the size of the actual cutting board. My cutting board size was 19 inches by 6¼ inches. And then I'm going to create a rectangle the same size. Then I'm going to go to the toolbox on the left-hand side, and I'm going to select the tool, select the bucket tool, and one of the colors at the bottom. I think I'm going to make it tan. Now increase the size of the box to 19 by 6¼ taking up the whole artboard by using the arrows on the box or enter the measurements in the top toolbar. Now we can add the cutting board design by copying it and pasting it into the tan rectangle. And adjusting the placement. Now you'll notice that the gingerbread man, the deer, and the cup all have those white interiors. That's because they're the PNGs. Now you can keep them like this, but I like to make things a little bit easier. So if I go to the top, I go to Path and select Trace Bitmap. This opens a menu on the right-hand side. Just make sure that everything is set to single scan, brightness cutoff. And I'm just using the default, and then I'll just click Apply. Now, you might think that nothing happened, but it actually did. There's actually two of the image. The top image is the new SVG, and the bottom image is the old bitmap, or the PNG, that we just traced. So now we can delete the old PNG and replace it with the new image where the old image was. Pretty easy. Now let's do it for the other two images. Now we can go ahead and save this file as an SVG. From here, I'll go to my glowforge dashboard and I'll go and create a new design. From the drop-down layer, select Upload File. And I'll select the SVG that I just saved and click Upload. Now once it's processed, I can select it and open it. The first thing I'm going to do is go to the bottom and check to make sure that the dimensions are what they need them to be. If they aren't, I'll enter in the correct dimensions. Now if you look to the left, you can see the two layers of the file that I created. Glowforge generally separates by color, so I can specify what I want to cut and what I want to engrave just by specifying the color. So by making the box, the rectangle box, a different color than the graphics, that separates it into two different layers. Now, the graphic is something that I want to engrave, and the rectangle I want to cut a jig for the cutting board. I'll be cutting the jig from a piece of scrap draft wood. I like to use every little bit of wood that I can to avoid waste. So I'm going to cut the jig first. So I'm going to set the graphic layer, the top layer, to ignore. And then the jig layer, the layer with the rectangle, I'll select, cut, and proof grade cut. Now let's set the focus. At the top where there's 3 dots, select Set Focus from the drop-down menu and place the red square in the middle of your art. This tells the glowforge where the top of the material lies. Now let's find the best place to put this jig on this scrap wood. Now click the print button. The box will open up. It'll say preparing your print, and it will tell you how long it will take to cut this layer. 3 minutes and 39 seconds. That looks good. Now I'll just press the button on the front of the glowforge. Here's the finished jig, and this is what the cutting board looks like in the jig. And let's engrave that. And I'll set the bottom layer to ignore. So I'm going to set the top layer to engrave SD. And here are the settings for engraving if you don't have a glowforge. Now let's set focus. Once it says it's ready, let's press print. Now I'll just push the button on the glowforge to start, and off it goes. Now here's the piece right out of the laser. There are some areas where there's wood smoke, but those come off easily with a little alcohol. And that's it. I have to say that I squealed just a little bit when I opened the lid. It was so neat. Now I just have to get the goodies ready for Christmas Eve, and it's ready to go. I hope you give this tray a try. Have a great day.